Namaste, welcome to Gita's kitchen. The Prasadam for the day is Ammani kozhakattai. First, to make the outer covering, I am taking 1 cup of water. Add a teaspoon of ghee, just a pinch of salt. When the water starts coming to a boil, just add 1 cup of this processed rice flour and stir it well together. Let it all come together. Mix it without any lumps. We'll switch it off. Now I am transferring it to a wet piece of white cloth. Just cover it and allow it to rest for some time. I have already made a video on how to make this homemade rice flour. I'll give you the link in the description box. Now for making this Ammani kozhakattai, we don't need any separate stuffing. We are going to use the same rice flour dough, and first we'll just add a little bit of salt to this and mix it well with the dough. Just take a few drops of oil in your hand like this and mix the dough well. You will get a nice soft smooth dough. Also spread some oil on your palm. Now take a portion of this and roll it into a cylinder like this. Pinch out tiny portions of this dough, make it into rounds and keep it on your steamer plate. While doing this, please, if you have small children at home, do involve them also in this activity. So that is how they will also learn about our great culture and they will feel very happy that they are also doing something for Ganesha. Boil water in your steamer and keep these small kozhakattais for steaming for 7 to 8 minutes. See, we have removed it from the steamer. It has cooled well. And how will we know that it is cooked? Just dip your hands in water and touch. It should not stick to your hand. Allow it to cool. Now in a pan, take a tablespoon of oil. Add some mustard seeds, Urad dal, a few cumin seeds, some fresh curry leaves, 2 green chillies. You can add 1 red chilli if you like. Hing is optional. If you like, you can add, otherwise you can omit it. Some people, they don't add hing while making the naivedyam. That's why I am saying that. And allow your kozhakattais to cool well first, and then now when the dal is well browned, adding these kozhakattais to this and mix it all well together. Keep the flame low. Finally add some fresh grated coconut on top and toss it again just for a minute or so. That's it. Your Ammani kozhakattai is done and ready. Our steamed savory Ammani kozhakattai are now ready for naivedyam for Ganesha. Namaste, welcome to Gita's kitchen. Shuklam Paradaram Vishnu Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayit Sarva Vighnopashantayet. Now we come to the next name of Ganesha, that is Vikata. Vikata means something, a humorous person or somebody who has got a sense of humor. In fact, in Tamil we say Vikata Kavi, and when it is read, front and backwards, Vikata Kavi, and you read it this way also, left to right or right to left, it means the same thing.
So generally a clever usage of words, usage of puns, humor in speech, all these witty remarks, all these come under Vikata. Also, although the actually Sanskrit dictionary meaning of Vikata sometimes can mean an anti-hero or even a villain, but in parlance, it has come to mean humor, or somebody who has got a good sense of humor. That is also very important in life. And because of which we can lighten a situation, especially when some situation is very serious or grim, and some other some person maybe cracks a joke or something is said to lighten or diffuse the situation, then it really helps a lot. It is said that in the place called Tiruvanakaval near Tiruchi in South India, Tamil Nadu, Adi Shankara, when he was traveling, see there he saw this Mother Akhilandeshwari's temple over there. And the Murti of Mother Akhilandeshwari had a very Ugra Swarupam. Ugra means a very fearsome Rupam she had taken. And then to pacify her, it is said that Bhagavad Pada Adi Shankara, he decided to place an idol of Vignesha. Who is Vignesha? None other than her own son in front of her. And then she became a Shanta Saumya Murti. That is, when a mother looks at her son, automatically she forgets everything else and she becomes very happy and calm and contented. That is one story. Now, there is another story of how Vignesha, why he got the name Vikata, because there are many examples for this. One is the birth of the river Kaveri. See, it seems once there was a huge drought in entire South India. All the place was dried and parched up. There were no rains. The rivers had dried up. And not only men, even cattle and trees, everything, cattle were just falling down dead and trees were all died. The whole land was parched. Say, Jajik, Agastya was coming that way. And then he said, no, something has to be done for this. So then he prayed to Lord Shiva. And he said, you please help this region with some water, because the entire region is parched and the people, the animals, all the beings here are suffering a lot. Then on Agastya's plea, Shivaji relented and he gave him a little bit of water in his kamandalam. Kamandalam is a kind of a pot which rishis you would have seen carrying a small pot, water pot. So he gave him some water from the Ganges. Ganges flows down from Shiva's head. So he gave him some water, told him, you take it in your kamandalam, and as you are walking, wherever you please don't keep it down, because once you tilt it, then the river will start flowing from that place. So wherever you want the river to start flowing, at that place you tilt it. So Agastya was very grateful to Shiva. He bowed down to him and started walking towards the south of the Vindhyas. Then as he was walking, he came to a place near present-day Coorg. And there he said, okay, now let me take some rest here. I'm a bit tired. So he keeps the kamandalam next to him and just lies down and takes a little bit of rest. Vinayaka or Ganesha, whose name is also Vikata, now thinks this is the right place where the Kaveri has to flow. Okay, river Kaveri. And so he takes the form of a crow, it is said, and he just tilts the kamandalam. So when he tilts the kamandalam, the water starts flowing, and suddenly Agastya gets up and he notices, and he's very angry with the crow. He says, why did you do this? This I had watered it for the parched lands. But then Agastya just watches and sees that quickly it starts gushing and going into a huge river all over the place. The entire place is covered and the land becomes again fertile and wet, and there is greenery everywhere. And then the crow changes its form to actually Vignesha, and then he shows his real Swarupam to Agastya and tells Agastya, I have done this on purpose because this is the right place for the birth of the river Kaveri. So even today, in a place called Talakaveri near Coorg, you will find the a source of the river Kaveri, which is the main river for the southern states, especially Tamil Nadu. The source is at Talakaveri, and that is where Vignesha, in the form of a crow, tilted the Kamandalu. So you see, Vignesha, Vikata, as we are looking at that name, he plays a prank just as coming as a crow and tilting the Kamandalu. But his prank, although it might irritate Agastya just for a moment before he realizes what has happened, but actually in all these pranks or little bit, his humor where he has shown, it has a greater significance in the sense it is for the betterment of the entire world or betterment for a much larger population, wherein now the entire region people had got good water and people were happy, and the cows and other animals, plants and people all could be saved from the drought. There is also another interesting story about the Vikata Rupa of Vignesha, where he plays a very beautiful prank, in the sense that it is said there was an huge idol of Sri Ranganatha. Now, this idol was supposed to have been prayed to by Brahma himself and then given to the kings and queens of the Ikshvaku clan. Ikshvaku clan is the clan from in which Sri Rama himself descended. And then it came down to Mother Kausalya, who was very devoted to the image, and then to Rama. So after the Rama-Ravana war, and then after killing of Ravana, and when Rama goes back to Ayodhya, and after the Rama's Pattabhishekam, that is his coronation, everybody is seated there, and Rama and Sita give away different gifts in appreciation to all the people, the Vanaras, to Hanuman, to everybody who is seated there for their help which they have rendered. And then Vibhishana makes a request that he really loves this Ranganatha idol and he would like to take it back with him to Lanka, because now he is going to rule Lanka as the king. So then Rama says, okay, you can take it, but on one condition, you should not put it down anywhere. If you put down this idol, it will get rooted in that spot, and then you will not be able to carry it away to wherever you want to take. So Vibhishana is very happy. He says, thank you, Rama. Definitely I will carry it and go. So, and then Vibhishana, he starts coming towards the south, going towards Lanka with the idol in his hand. Finally, he reaches the banks of the Kaveri in South India. And there he feels that he wants to do his, personal ablutions and whatever his daily routine practices. When he sees the river Kaveri, he wants to take a bath over there. And then he looks around, he says, no, where if I don't want to put down this idol. If I put it down, it will get rooted over here. I don't want to do that. And when he's thinking of that, our Ganesha, I told you, his ears always wide open. He knows everybody's thoughts, what they want to do and what they don't want to do, everything. Then he thinks, no, this precious Ranganatha idol should not go away from our country. It should be with us and our people. Now let me see how I can do this. So then he just disguises himself in the form of a cowherd or some sort of, he comes in the form of a brahmachari. And just as Vibhishana is looking around for somebody to hold this Ranganatha idol, he says, hey boy, come here. Please hold this idol for me for a while. I just go have a bath and come back quickly. Then our Vikata, Vignesha, he says, okay. And then he holds the idol. And then as Vibhishana starts moving towards the river for his bath, he tells him, you better make it quick because it is quite heavy. I cannot hold it for a long time. So if I start getting tired and my hands start paining, I'll call you. And I'll call you 3 times. If you don't come back in that time, I will put it down and go away. So then Vibhishana says, don't worry, I won't take a long time. I'll just go have a bath and come back in no time at all. So then Vibhishana goes to have a bath, and our Vikata Vignesha is very clever. So by the time he comes back, he says, Vibhishana, 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 he cries out and he just keeps the idol on the spot. And when Vibhishana comes back, he tries to lift the idol. Impossible for him. It is rooted to that spot. And he is very angry with this young cowherd boy or this young brahmachari. And he runs behind him to, sort of give him a peace of mind and also give him a couple of blows also maybe. And the young boy is running ahead and Vibhishana running behind him. And quickly, our young Vikata Vignesha climbs up a nearby hill and reaches the right top. That is known as the Rockford Temple. Uchipaliyar. Those who are in Trichy, they will know Uchipaliyar, a Ganesha temple right at the top of the hill. And he stays there, and there he gives his darshan to Vibhishana, and he says, and he blesses him. And then Vibhishana says, I wanted to take it there, and says, Ganesha says, no, it will be here only, but I will grant you a boon in the sense that normally no idol is placed facing the south. This idol of Ranganatha will be placed facing the south so that you can have the darshan of the Lord from your place, from Lanka. So it is said that is why it is facing the south. And that place today is known as Srirangam, the place where Ranganathas, you must have seen the huge Ranganatha statue of the idol and the Lord lying down over there. That is Srirangam. And the small Vikata Vignesha, after playing his prank, he ran up the Rockfort temple. Even today, you can see the Ganesha atop the hill. So this temple is called as the Rockfort temple or the Uchipaliyar temple or Malakotai in Tamil, and the Manika Vinayakar at the base of the temple and the Uchipaliyar at the top of the temple. My grandparents used to stay very close to this temple, and I have fond memories of, looking at this Uchipaliyar every morning as a child. And we used to run up the, see who can go first and reach the top. In my younger days, of course. There is also another beautiful story of where our Vikata Vignesha plays another prank, and this time with Vibhishana's elder brother Ravana. I have narrated this story earlier also in some other Ganesh Chaturti celebration, where Ravana is now carrying back a Shivalinga, the Atmalinga. The Shivalinga he takes and he wants to carry it back to Lanka. And then when he reaches a place called Gokarna, there also similarly, he wants somebody to hold the idol while he just finishes his personal work and comes back. And this young Vignesha comes in the form of a young boy and he says he'll hold the idol. And by the time Ravana comes back, I have told you, he says, Ravana, Ravana, Ravana. 3 times he calls and he puts it down. And when Ravana comes back with all his might, he tries to pull the Lingam, the Shiva Lingam, the idol of Shiva, but it is impossible to do so. And that's why it is called Gokarna, where he pulled it in the shape of the ear of a cow. And there also there is a temple to Shiva over there. So these are the ways where Vikata Vinayaka has played pranks for the benefit of the entire world. So all of you who have not been to South India, definitely make a trip to Srirangam and see Ranganatha Swami temple. And also at Tiruchi, if you have a chance to go, which is very close by, you can go and see this Malakotai and the Uchipaliyar temple on top. In fact, on the way up the hill, I have also told you about the Tayumanavar Sannidhi, the place where Shiva has come as a mother. He disguised himself as an old woman to help a pregnant lady with her delivery when the Kaveri was in spate and her own mother could not cross and come. There, Shiva himself came in the guise of her mother and helped her. I've told you this story earlier on a Mother's Day episode, I think. So there are so many other very, very interesting stories which you can tell your children to, and so that these are passed on from generation to generation. And in Kanchipuram too, there is a temple known as Vikata Chakra Vinayaka temple. Here also there is an interesting story behind it. See, Vignesha is the son of Shiva. Who is his mama? Mahavishnu. So then it is said, okay, it was Ganesha's birthday, and birthday, your uncle, your mama brings you presents, isn't it? So that time, Mahavishnu had come and he had brought some presents, but Vignesh didn't want any of those presents. Mahavishnu always has a chakra with him, and that is called as the Sudarshana Chakra. And this young boy, our young Vignesha, who is as a Vikata Rupa, he wanted this particular chakra, and Vishnu Initially, he said, no, I cannot give it to you. You cannot pay it. But see, a young boy, birthday, and he was, crying for it. He wanted it a lot. So he said, okay, you play with it for some time and give it back to me. So Ganesha was playing with it. And after some time, Vishnu said, no, please give back my Sudarshana Chakra to me. I want it. Ganesha refused. So initially he tried pleading with him, asking him, and but Vignesha did not want at all, and so it did not give it at all, and so it went on for some time. And Vishnu was trying to cajole him into giving it and running behind him and all that. It is said that, finally Vignesha put the chakra in his mouth and refused to give it at all. And so when we pray to Ganesha, there is the practice that we hold our ears with our crossed hands like this, pulling the ears down and bending up, bending our knees and getting up. This is called as Karnam. Okay, so finally Vishnu pleaded with Ganesha by doing Karnam in front of him and said, now Ganesha, please give me back my Sudarshana Chakra. And Vignesh started laughing. Vignesh started laughing hilariously, seeing Vishnu doing this Karna. And when he laughed, the Sudarshana Chakra fell out of his mouth and Mahavishnu got it back. Small, simple stories, and which tell us about the name Vikata, how Vignesh got the name Vikata. Om Vikataya Namah. Periva Sharanam. Thank you for watching the video. We'll meet again with the next Nama. Please continue chanting the Shodasha Nama, the 16 names of Ganesha, and let us all be blessed by Mahaganapathi.